This week I'm here in Islamabad, Pakistan, which is a super fascinating place. I can't wait to show you what it's all about. But I came here because of one very special person. This is Aliza.
Hi there.
Thank you so much for meeting with me today.
Absolutely. This is my favorite thing to do, by the way. So I would love to have Andrew see what we do, usually on the weekends.
Perfect. So you're a nature kind of person then? This is where you recharge?
Yeah. It's always better, like, the earlier you come, because, like, the sounds of nature, and it's very therapeutic, and you can just, like, sit there for hours away from the city noise. I like it here. It's calm. You see the grass? That is what I was talking about.
Yeah.
So peaceful.
I could listen to the sounds of nature here all day.
If you could just close your eyes, it even gets better. Right?
Yeah.
This one time I was here and I saw something like black, huge, and moving. So I just asked my friend, what is that? And he was like, it's a wild boar. And I literally, I ran for my life. That was the last thing I was expecting to see here, because I had heard about, it has, leopards and monkeys and everything, but not a wild boar.
Are you an only child?
No, we're actually 3 siblings.
Uh-huh.
So I've got an older sister and there's a younger one too. Little child.
Are you all alike or are you the odd one out?
I feel like maybe I'm a little too career oriented. When comparatively, generally. My father just raised us like sons, and maybe you might not be able to relate to it, but maybe the Pakistani people might be able to relate to it, or the South Asian, that a lot of people would just give the best education to their son. Why? Because he has to raise a family and everything, and they would still educate their daughter, but they wouldn't spend all that much because she has to eventually get married off. But I was actually lucky to have a father who is super supportive of everything that we did.
I noticed you're using a past tense to refer to your father. Are you comfortable telling me about what happened?
Yeah, so my world just completely turned upside down a few months ago. He actually unfortunately passed away very suddenly in March, and that was just a month or a month and a half after I started working with Crossover. I mean, he was super proud of me. That is something that always makes me happy, that he could see me here.
What motivates you to push through and keep going?
Because what our parents do for us, we can never return that to them, not in a lifetime. So I feel the best thing that you can do is just be your own person and just do things that would make them feel proud. So I was actually planning that there's this viewpoint that's pretty nearby. Mm-hmm. So I was just thinking I'm gonna take you there.
Yeah? Yeah, for a view over the city?
Yeah.
That sounds great. Let's go do it. How did you get started in sales?
So basically, I was initially working in a tech support department, and my manager, he told me, he was the best salesperson on our team are not even from sales. They're people who know the product, and you have been working with the product for a year now, so you would be a good fit, don't worry. And that's exactly what happened. And to my surprise, it was my first month, and I wasn't even supposed to do any target. I just thought that, okay, maybe I might be able to get a deal, and I was actually able to do 306% to be exact.
306% of your target.
Of my target.
What was everyone else doing?
No, everybody was doing 100%. A really good rep was doing 200, and when I saw my 306%, and I was oh my God, I think I can actually do this. So I feel that's where it started.
Do you have a secret trick?
I just feel it's about being a good listener. When you're trying to solve a customer's problem, that is when you make sales. If you're trying to sell your product, you're not going to make sales.
hole-in-one, ladies and gentlemen. That is exactly, from everything that I've learned in my career, I couldn't agree more with that.
Yeah. So I actually, once came across like a job from Crossover on LinkedIn, and it was the kind of jobs that, people would be doing here, but being paid much less, and especially me, I was already working remotely for a US company. It was probably like this pays like probably 10x more. I'm not even kidding.
Wow. So wait, so there was a US company that was paying you 10 times less. Well, that must have really motivated you to want to participate then.
Absolutely. And, I literally started applying in October 2020, and I got in January 2023. So that was a long time.
What happened in between?
Yeah, so basically, I'd been applying, giving these tests and everything, getting through the interviews, but every single time somebody else would be hired. And then there was a post about Women's Day. It was actually a video, it was snippets of different women who were working at Crossover and celebrating women who were empowered now, who can take care of everything themselves, they're independent, and they're living their ideal dream life. And that actually really motivated me, and I was like, I really want to be here. And they say I really believe in the law of attraction,
Yeah.
And I just imagined myself there right in the moment, and I wrote a very sweet comment. I mentioned something I've been applying since 2020, and I really hope I will be here one day, and I'm gonna make it. And to my surprise, Crossover replied. And they were like, if you make it to Crossover, we're gonna feature you in that year's video. And then what happened is that, when I got selected, and I remembered, oh my God, there was this post. And I went again, I found that post, and I commented on it.
Yeah, I actually remember that
comment. You do? Oh my
God. I got a message about maybe 3 months before today.
Yeah.
From someone saying, hey, check this out. And it was a message from Aliza Saeed saying, do you remember me? I made it.
I'm getting all emotional here.
I knew that I had to tell your story.
To be honest, I was never expecting somebody to physically come here, meet me in person, because I really appreciate you coming all the way here to just feature me in this video. It's really amazing, keeping your promise after 2 years, that's great.
Well, Crossover does not do things by halves, and that's a big part of why I've been given the great honor of being able to travel and meet with really interesting remote workers around the world. As soon as I saw that, I knew that I had to come to Islamabad, Pakistan. Nothing could stop me from getting here. And I will never forget the expression on your face when I got in touch and I said, hey, we can film a video, but I have a better idea. What if I come there and I fly all the way from New Zealand?
Yeah, and I was like, are you kidding me?
Crossover was looking for the kind of person who will make a big promise like that and then keep it and follow through and deliver.
Absolutely, and it's such a pleasure to meet you. I'm so glad we've had an amazing time, and we got to bond and everything. And I honestly I'm so grateful that I never gave up. When I would see people who were actually hired at Crossover, and I was like, they're there, I can be there too. It's legit, we can do it.
So you've been in the job for how long now?
About 7 months.
Yeah, and
yeah.
What's your experience been like?
It's an amazing company. I've worked at so many remote places before, but the way they know how to run a remote company, we've all bonded together, and it's sometimes you can't even tell the difference if we're sitting in an office space or not, because we're just so closely bonded. Even if I'm talking to the CEO, the CFO, anybody, I can just DM them right away, can we huddle? And they're always up for it. I love it. It's really good.
Because it's interesting, I feel like when the pay is 10x, I would clean toilets for 10x. But you're saying you actually have a good time as well, genuinely.
Yeah, genuinely, I absolutely love it. And they pay exactly on the time and everything. I have worked with US-based companies before. It would, there would be times there would be delays, some sort of mismanagement here and there, But with Crossover, I've been super happy with everything, the way they do everything. And what I feel and what I tell everybody is that it's difficult to get here. And just because it's difficult to get here does not mean it's not legit. It is difficult to get here, but then it's worth it. It's worth every single second you've spent, working hard for it and, putting an effort into it. It's literally worth it because it absolutely upgrades your lifestyle in every single way possible,
For the record, I did not ask her to say any of this stuff. This is unfiltered, unpaid. This is just from your heart.
I'm actually really grateful that I ended up here because I have enough to be able to reinvest or to be able to just generally do whatever I want to. And that's very liberating. That's actually, once you get that kind of a financial freedom, there's no going back.
Well, it's been an absolute delight sitting here and talking with you. I'm so glad that I came all the way from New Zealand to Islamabad to honor that promise that was made to you 2 years ago. So cheers to you, Aliza.